Hey guys, welcome back to episode 7. This is the foundation where we're going to really begin to lay the foundation for how you can really begin to implement and impact your people well, right? Now, in our last segment, we talked about several key rules that high-performing teams have. And as a leader, you have to do it, right? So we're still talking high level, right, with that right there. But now I want to talk about the individual level. So if you remember from our first episode 1, a shameless plug, go back and check episode 1 out to really dive into it. We talked about the 4-lens assessment, right? The 4-lens assessment is a phenomenal tool which identifies how people think, how people lead, how they operate. Now, as a high level overview, I just want to talk about them really quickly. Right? So we talked about people with the blue personality type are team oriented, right? They think about the team more than anything else. So they're thinking about people. They're what I like to call the glue that keeps everything together, right? My greens, well, people who have a green personality type or a lead green personality type, they're data driven. They're thinking about information and knowledge and, how and why, what next. They love reading and diving into the details. People who have a lead goal personality type, this group right here, my friends, they're thinking about order and structure, timeline. How do we get it done? Where are we going to do this? And they live by checklists and to-dos and those type things. And then people who have a lead orange personality type, these are people who are adventurous action takers, jump in, go, get it done, ready, set, go, 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 right? Now, understand, all of us have all 4 of these colors in us. But we tend to lean to 1 or 2 of them in how we live life. Now, if you're going to have a high-performing team, I would challenge you to really understand the personality type of the people around you. Because if you can understand the personality type, you can begin to take that personality type, match it with their skill set, and then match that to the task that needs to be done, right? Now, when you can do that, all of a sudden you set people up for success. Right? You're putting them in their sweet spot, understanding how they operate, how they're motivated, how they learn, how they lead, and all of a sudden they can run through brick walls for you, right? So as you begin to do that, this is where you get the best out of people. So I want to think about this for a second. Now I want to talk about influencing strategies. How do you influence each color type? Well, let's start with the blue lead, right? Those who have a lead blue, how are they influenced? Well, if you are a leader working with blues, understand blue people who have lead blue personality types are influenced by camaraderie and teams coming together. They think about the bigger picture. They want that cohesive team. They want the harmony. They want to see the big picture. So if I have someone on my construction site who is a lead blue, I'm showing them what we're doing and how what we're building is helping people. Right? As well as I'm allowing them to be a part of the team, bring people together, and really begin to understand the creativity that comes from people working together. The more you can begin to do that, the more they begin to buy into what you're doing. Now, this group, they love a democratic relationship. So they love talking things out. As a leader, you have to understand, you can't talk everything out all the time, but you can bend and turn things sometimes so that you can get the best out of this group. When you're able to do that, my friends, you can do a hell of a job of bringing them in, them buying into what you're saying because they understand that you value them as a person, you value the relationship that you have with them, and all of a sudden, they're running through brick walls for you, right? Now, when you can begin to dial that up with things that we talked about in our last segment, the level, you can begin to do a hell of a job of getting this lead blue personality type to run with you. The next one I want you to think about is this green personality type. Right? Well, what do they need? Well, unlike the blue who needs relationships, they need that information. They need data, knowledge. They need to show practical, how are we going to get it done? Show me why. Allow them to ask questions. Give them more information. Let them ponder. Let them dive deeper. Let them analyze. They want to do that, my friends. And the more you allow them to do that, the more you can begin to get them on board, right? Now, in order to influence them well, you have to do a few things as a leader. Number 1, you have to demonstrate competence. You have to show that you are very competent at what you're doing. And when you don't know, don't bullshit them. Say, hey, I don't know, let me find out, right? And make sure you get back to them. Give them space to ask questions. Give them space to dig and do research. When you can begin to do that, you can do a hell of a job influencing them and bringing them on board, and they'll be at their best performing at high levels. Now, unlike the blue leads who like working on large teams, like working with people in those atmospheres, this green lead personality type prefers smaller teams. So if you want them to perform high at high levels, give them small, competent, knowledgeable people, and they'll do a hell of a job for you, right? Now, let's go to that next one. That next one, my friends, the gold lead personality type. Well, what do they value? As I said before, they value structure, order, right? Establish guidelines. So how do you get the best out of them? How do you get this personality type to perform at high levels? Well, number one, give clear instructions and details. They need to know exactly what you expect from them, exactly what it looks like to win. They need those instructions, almost like a to-do list, a checklist, right? Give them an opportunity to be their best self, to do their best work. Understand, this is the color here that really ties their name to what they do. And so therefore, they want clear guidelines, clear instructions, so that they know exactly how to win, right? Now, with this group right here, give them timelines, give them detailed checkpoints of how we're going to measure things so that we know the tangible bottom line outcome. If you do that with this group, they can perform at their best. They can run really fast, really hard for you because they have a clear picture of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what it looks like to win, right? Now, this last color, this orange, what do they need? Well, they need freedom. Freedom and creativity to get shit done. This group loves pressure. They love stress. Don't micromanage this group. How do you influence them? Tell them what you need. Tell them when you need it by. Move out of the way, right? Give them minimal details because they're already thinking about what they're doing next. They're running rampant and wild. So when you give them minimal details, give them just enough to go to the next task. Give them a variety of tasks. Don't hold them to one task all day long. If you can begin to move them around a little bit, you'll get the best out of this personality type. They'll perform at high levels because they're moving around. They like the variety. They like that flexibility, and you begin to get the best out of them, right? So understand, we started today talking about teams, and we understood that a team is a defined group of people who have a codependency on each other, all moving to a common goal, right? That's the big broad thing that we talk about. A team, this is what a team does, right? Now, in the second segment, we broke it down even more to say, okay, well, what are some of those key aspects that a high-performing team has? What do they do, right? And we listed several things like defined roles. We talked about they value diversity. They have accountability, so we threw all those things out. But in this segment, when we talk about the foundation, understand, teams are made up of people. So you have to do this broad approach to the team, but as a coach, and you, my friend, understand, are the coach of this team, you have to then really begin to narrow down this high-performing thing into high-performing individuals. How do you do that? You bring the 4-lens assessment into it. When you can begin to bring the 4-lens assessment into this, now all of a sudden you get individuals performing at high levels because you've dialed up or dialed down what is needed for each individual. And now all of a sudden we have a high-performing team because we have high-performing individuals who are operating at their best. When leaders begin to understand that, when leaders break it down to that level, you can begin to maximize your team, maximize the individual productivity of each person because you've dialed in exactly what they need, right, my friends? So in the last segment, we're going to frame it out. We're going to frame it out of what you need to do as a leader to make this work, to make this happen. And oftentimes as leaders, we fail at this last piece big time. Oh, my friends, we fail big time. You don't want to miss this last segment when we frame out exactly what you need to do. So I look forward to seeing you in episode 7, the frame out, so that you know exactly where to go, what you need to do, as well as what not to do. See you soon, my friends. Hey, I want to thank you again for tuning in to No Bullshit with Alex Willis, the #1 source for leadership development in the construction industry. If you're watching on YouTube, my friends, we are doing our first ever giveaway. And trust me, We have some good shit for you. You don't want to miss it, my friend. So one of those things, this phenomenal, awesome mug with some hard hat stickers, no bullshit hard hat stickers. All you have to do to participate is leave us a comment to let us know where you may have challenges as well as what you think about the show, right? We will pick a random winner and we'll reach out to you with details. So don't forget to hit play to check out the next segment.